When you want to add more information to your video, such as labeling the name of a person speaking or adding bullet points, the titler is where you do this. Edius has a titler called Quick Titler, and we're going to go over this and see the different ways that you can use it to enhance your videos. When you first purchase Edius, you only have one real title option, and that's Quick Titler. It's a very simple titler, but I'm hoping to show you how to use it, and then by using some of the other tools that we've already learned about, how to be able to manipulate those titles and make them look good and be able to move about. Now, there are third-party title tools, such like Viz Title, which is a very, very robust titler that has a lot of 3D motion and animation and everything in it. But Quick Titler is what you get with Edius, and so that's what I'm going to be showing today. And besides, Viz Title could have its own 5 to 6 hour tutorial on its own. First off, what I'm going to do is make sure that my block is where I want the title to go. And the first title I'm going to put up is going to be up on the third video track. And I'm going to bring my controller over here and just set it right over where my green screen was. And then to start a title, I just hit the T button here on the timeline. And I have two choices. I can create a title in a video channel track, which is exactly what I want to do, why I moved my V block up. Or I can create a title in a new title track. Now, I don't know if you'll remember hours ago when we were talking about setting up your presets and everything, but in reality, I don't use title tracks. And the reason being is because a title track is always on top of video. In other words, there's no way to be able to place something behind it if you wanted to. And plus, even though you can layer titles with separate title tracks, you're limited to what's called title mixers. And title mixers, just to show you up here, they're basically ways of just moving titles on and off. It looks like there's a lot of them, but really you're very, very limited. So what I'm going to do is place it into a title video channel right here, new title in the video channel. And here is my titler. Now, Quick Title, like I said, is a fairly simple titler, but yet at the same time has a lot of power inside of it. Like you just saw, I can set up a grid if I want to set up a grid and be able to work with that. Inside that grid, I can make it look different ways with just the dots, or I can have the lines going on it, but I really don't want anything on there. I am going to put up my title safe area so I can kind of see where the title safe area is on that. And you have other type tools in here, like you can move something to front if you want to. You can center things vertically. You can align it top to bottom, left tab it. You can draw a line, a triangle, an ellipse, a rectangle. In other words, you can do all sorts of stuff here. You can even bring in an image. What I really want to do, however, here is I just want a very simple title at this moment because I want it to work in conjunction with my chroma key, with my little bug that's down there. So I'm just going to type in, "Give me some football." Couple exclamation points afterwards. Now, to move it, all I have to do is grab it with the selection tool right there, move it down to where I would like it to be, right here, and then I'm going to size it. Now, I want you to notice that as I'm sizing it, if I hold down the Shift key, it's going to keep it in its aspect ratio. If you just grab it and don't do it that way, what's going to happen is it's going to allow you to reshape it basically almost, and actually would really help a lot better if I typed in the correct way of typing in football. In fact, I'm having a hard time believing that this is the first time that I've actually misspelled something in this. But so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and, like I said before, size it down by grabbing the end. I'm going to bring it down here, and that was a little bit, I want to bring it in some more to give it a little bit different look. There we go, right there. Now that I have this, I'm going to basically center it right on her. So I have it sitting right there. Now, I could be done here if I want to just do white, but if you'll take a look over on this side, since I have the text done, I have all sorts of tools that I can do with it. I can transform it, X and Y, width and height. I can do kerning and leading if I want to. I can pick any true type font that's sitting on the system. I can bold and italicize it if I want to. I can do underline, but I don't want to do the underline. I can left tab, center, or right tab it. But here's my fill color. And this is the white that you're seeing right now. I don't want white. I want to put a little bit of color into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to pink because she's a girl. Okay, so here I have a pink, give me some football, but I'm still not satisfied with this because what I want to do here is have more than one color. So I'm going to pick a second color here and pick blue because boys play football. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to try and bring it back a little bit to where it's not quite so bright blue, but it's blue. I'm going to select OK, and notice I have pink and I have blue sitting here. All I have to do is increase the number of color to 2, and now you see I have a gradient sitting up here with this arrow. By holding the left mouse button, I can sit there and change the direction of the gradient. So I'm going to start with pink and go to blue, but I want to add a little bit of an angle to give it kind of a look here. So here I have this pink and blue. It's kind of a subtle change going from one color to the other. I can also then pull up my transparency, which I want to do because of the fact that my main person here that I'm looking at is the person in the bug, not really the words. So I want to be able to see her through the words somewhat, but I don't want it to be so much. So let's just keep it right about 50%. Okay, so I'm going to place it at 50%. Now I can also do a texture file if I want to do a texture file. If I click on that and then bring that up and have some texture files like JPEGs or anything like that that I want to be the fill in the words, I can do that if I want to be able to do that. But right now, I'm just going to do it this way with the fill color. And there we have it. So I now have my title done. And I can pick a style if I wanted to down here just by double clicking on the style. If I change the style, I can go in and make the words look completely different if I want to, and be able to pick any of the styles that are down here. But like I said, I just want to pick what I did here before, and I'll just do it again very quickly. Pink, blue, color up to 2 with my gradient, and have it go from pink to blue with a little bit of an angle right there. And I'm good to go with my transparency sitting at 50. Now, I just select the Save button, and now you'll see in the bin window that I have a still here of my title, and the title is sitting down here where I placed it. I'm going to wait until I see the orange bracket. I'm going to grab it with the left mouse button and pull it out over her. So now I have this shot ready to go. So what I'm going to do with this, you're going to see right here that there she is and there's the title, but the title doesn't have any motion to it. So I want it to match what she's doing to a certain extent. So I'm going to select the title, go into the layouter of that title. I'm going to go back to the very, very beginning here, right? Turn on the keyframer like I've done before. Double click up here to add my keyframes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hold down my right arrow key here and then tap it until I see exactly where she sits right there. Now, before I do that, always got to make sure that you do what you want to do on those first ones. So I'm going to move this completely off to where there's nothing over him whatsoever. Now I'm going to come in and take a look at where she stops completely, because I want them to stop completely at the same time. And then I'm just going to grab it and move it into its original position. And as you can see, there are the keyframes automatically created just like before. Then I'm going to pull down here and I'm going to get here close to the end. And there she starts to go off the screen right there. So I'm going to find that exact one where she starts. I'm going to double click to set my keyframes, then pull the controller to the end, and then once again, just pull it off to the side and select OK. And then when we play through this, you'll see that they both move at the same speed, basically, but they're coming from different places. They land right there at the right spot. I've got my bug going on down there that I could sit there and say what time or something of this nature, or give any information that I want to give. And then when that information is given, then you see it just go ahead and fly right off the screen. And it's done. So that's a way of doing a very simple title and being able to put motion on it, not inside the titler itself, but just using the other tools that we've already gone over. Now, however, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring the controller over here. I'm going to move my block down to 2, and I want to do a little bit more of a descriptive title sitting here over this gentleman to say who he is. So I've got my controller where I want it to go. I've got my block where I want it to be. And once again, I'm going to hit Create Title in Video Channel Track, and it comes up. Now, this time, I don't want just words. This time, I want to do something else with it. Now, notice here, when I first started, it shows background properties. So I can show the video, I can show white, I can show black, I can show a still image if I want to and pick that still image. But you know what? Most of the time, I want the video because that's exactly what it's going to be going against. Also, you can see the title style. We can do a roll from either the top or bottom or a crawl from left to right. So if you have credits or something of that nature, that's the only animation you're going to have with Quick Titler sitting right there. But I'm just going to leave it as a still. See the safe area down here? I really don't need the grid just because of the fact I'm not doing several things. So I'm just going to pick my rectangle right here, and I'm going to pull this out in the safe area right there, and I'm just going to bring it back to where it's basically centered. Now, as you can see, it's already kind of transparent, and I have an object here, and you'll look over on the right, every time something is selected, it changes it. So I'm going to change this. I want to change this to a color. And let's say I'm going to change it to red. I'm going to select OK. And you'll notice that it's already transparent because of the fact that when you create something like this, it gives it a 50% transparency. And you can see I can also do a texture file, but I really don't. I just want to keep this in here, and I'm going to bring it up just like that, just a little bit. Now, what I can do also is to go up to 2 color, or let's go up to 4 colors. And you could see the red right there just barely, or I could sit there and say, okay, I want to do 4 colors. But I want to do red. I'm going to do this the exact same color red so we can match it up. Or more of an orangish, actually, if I'm going to be honest with you. Select OK. And then when I have that 4 color going, you can see that it'll go from that color kind of into that black. So I can play with the different amounts of colors and kind of see how it'll go from one color to another by changing the amounts of colors and then changing the colors inside of there. It's a little less black on the end, a little more of the orangish red on the outside of it, so I can kind of play with it right there. So now that I have that done, I'm going to come up to text and I'm going to type in Greg the Man. I'm going to click away from it and then grab it. Thank you. Bring it down, and I'm going to drop it right here in the middle. Now, that's a little bit too large, so I'm going to bring it down some by grabbing the edges and then bringing it in. So now I have a title sitting on top of this rectangle with a color sitting on it to be able to really bring that out for me. And I'm not going to change anything in it. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and use one of the styles. See, I could sit there and use that style, give it kind of a black glow around it. I could use this style, just all sorts of different styles inside of here that I'm able to use. Now, I can save this, and after I save it, I can pull on it to make sure that it comes out completely and totally. And there's my title sitting right on top of my video. So even though Quick Titler is a very simple titler, by using some of the other tools to make it really come alive and really be able to use it. I don't use any other titler because I really don't do a lot of 3D titling type things, and I do mostly 2D. But I can do most of what I want to be able to do inside of Quick Titler, and then, like I said, be able to use my other tools. So that's basically how you use Quick Titler.